being here with us. And Dave and I and his partner Dale Stauffer go back a few years now, and we share a goal together, the three of us, and that is that we're very committed to help you agents all be the best you can be and arm you to compete at the highest level. Again, my name is Janet Larson-Meyer, and I'm the Senior Vice President of the 990 Company. I want to spend just a minute or two with you, if I could, to give you a quick background so you can understand why I'm where I'm at today and more directly what's in it for you. My background is I've had 22 years of experience in network marketing, and that was a perfect pruning ground for me to learn how to grow people in order to grow a company into its ultimate success. Following my networking career, I spent 6 years in the title industry, much like our amazing title rep on the line with us today, Sky Doreen. And in my nearly 6 years in title, I was the top marketing rep for one title company, resigned my position, and headed the marketing division of Maricopa County's #1 agency. A short time ago, I was introduced while in title to a marketing concept that I recognized was off the chart, the best thing I had ever seen, the best value to share with agents to take to market for the kind of win that we had conspired to organize for the course of our 6-year relationship. And once I knew, ladies and gentlemen, I couldn't go back to the other more traditional, conventional strategies that would keep you guys stuck in mediocrity. So I was introduced to a concept called the 990 program that will make your phone ring. It will get you face-to-face with homeowners, and it'll get you listings every time. Our message is very provocative, and it is simply this: you're a full-service real estate professional who will list somebody's home or sell someone's home for a commission as low as $990. It gets your phone ringing, as I said. It's the thing that we've talked about. It allows you to get into the activity of doing real estate instead of always being out searching. It would be so nice, and we're able to do this for you, where we get your phone ringing. In addition to carrying this provocative message to market using our licensing and branding, you have a website that will give you immediate access to the marketing tools to help be our boots on the ground, so to speak, to be your own advocate and your own message carrier. We're also full into a marketing campaign on radio and on the internet to help bring 990 into households and make it a recognizable brand. And now you'll have the opportunity, if you become a part of the insider club, so to speak, of the 990 Company, to be under the mentorship of one of the most recognized real estate gurus named Greg Hague. He's so vested in your success that he'll personally coach you. He does webinars and conference calls each week and live trainings right here in Arizona, and all those benefits become available to you. So we're really excited to enter into an engagement with you and to show you what's here for the taking. So to our agents on the line, I ask you to please reach out to me at 480-720-0205 or by email Janet at the990company.com, and I'll send you a free listing playbook and a video called Blue Ocean for Real Estate Professionals. So with that, I'm going to wrap up, tell you I hope I hear from you. Listen closely to Dave's presentation today and hang on every word, because he's all about bringing your model up current, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you, Dave, so much for giving me some time here this morning.
You're welcome. I just wanted to say that Janet and I worked together for a while. Janet was the top title rep, and she left a very lucrative career to pursue 990. So I invite you to just hear about it, because if it caught her attention, it might be of interest to you. And I just wanted to also give Sky Doreen a couple minutes, and I appreciate Sky for really being a stand for bringing real estate agents information that will make a difference in your business right now. So Sky, can you? I know you can hear me, but I'm not sure if your audio is working properly.
Let's find out. Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, there you are.
Excellent.
Very
okay,
good.
Well, good morning, everyone. Thanks so much, Dave, for letting me be here again this morning, and good morning, Janet. Well, I love what I Found Agent does for agents. I think it's a really good web platform and a great way to get out there, as you'll see, without a huge time investment, which is something that we're all low on. Nobody has quite enough time in the day, so this does make it really manageable. So look forward to hearing more about that this morning. And then I know we've got attendees on the call this morning from both the Prescott and the Phoenix markets. So I just want to let you know that we've got offices all over the state and in other states at this point, but I'll focus on Arizona for the moment. Right now we've got our Prescott branch, we've got 2 in Flagstaff, 1 in Sedona, and 16 down in the Valley. So we are everywhere to serve you and your needs. If you are in the Valley, please feel free to contact me and I can hook you up with one of our reps down there so that they can help you with any of your business needs. And if you're up here in the Prescott market, please feel free to contact me. But thank you again for the opportunity, and I look forward to learning more. I learn every time I'm on a call. So.
Okay, and so we're going to get started. I just want to, we've got a small group, so I've actually, I've unmuted everybody, and I'll do that, you know, unless we have some background noise, then I'll mute everybody. So small group, I invite you to, you know, swing out if you have questions, let me know, because usually in bigger groups, I, you know, lock it down more. It just gets to be a little too much to handle, especially in a webinar format. So for those of you that don't know me, my name is Dave Mason. I'm one of the owners and founders of I Found Agent. I was a real estate agent for 12 years. I sold a lot of real estate. And very early on, I learned how technology can make a big difference in leveraging your time as well as your results. Started off as a very green agent at the age of 22, 23, I can't remember exactly. I started with Realty Executives in 1988, brought a computer into the office, which at that time had an orange screen, and people pretty much thought I was insane. You know, comments were, what are you going to do with that? You don't need that. And to be honest, I wasn't quite sure what I was going to do with it. I knew I could do something with it. And fast forward, but in a 2-year period, I built a whole postcard mailing system. At that point, there was no go to the title company for addresses. I used to drive around in my car, did that for a couple months to get all the addresses in North Scottsdale, and I would just mail every month, probably 6,000, 7,000, 8,000 mail pieces a month, and I did that for 2 years. I mean, the first 2 years of my business, that's all I did. That's how I got all my business, and I was in the 100% club, top 10% of Realty Executives, and it really left an impression on me to, you know, about what technology can provide you, which really it just expands what's available to you, you know, beyond what you yourself can do. So, and you know, I didn't read a book necessarily. There wasn't this plan laid out for, hey, you can do this for, you know, marketing your real estate business. It came out of going to a lot of different classes. I bought an archaic database from Joe Stump a long time ago, went to some GRI classes and got the idea about doing a postcard mailing system. Although at the time, postcards didn't really exist because the experts said you were supposed to mail letters, which didn't make any sense to me. But I knew with a postcard, at least while they were throwing it in the garbage, they would see my face once a month. And so that's what I did. And it, you know, luckily that strategy turned out. So I still say there's huge opportunities in real estate. The internet is just a wide open place to really put your stake in the ground for your niche, and your niches is where your riches are. My niche back then was Sweetwater Ranch and Mountain View Ranch. Probably 75% or more of my sales happened in those in those subdivisions. So, you know, if I were doing that now, if I were selling real estate now, I would have a different approach to how I would want to be on the web, which will, you know, I will cover that. So let's see, Jan, I'm going to take you off of mute. Actually, I can't. Okay. I'm married. I've got a young daughter, and you know, I've been a geek for 25 years. I mean, I see a couple people on here that know me. I'm into photography. I shot house videos. I'm very big into video. I think that's a very important part of real estate business right now. And so why don't we get started? So, I've talked to hundreds, if not thousands, of real estate agents about their website, and the majority of people, they're just not getting traffic. They're not getting found online, and they're very frustrated to know, why not? I've had the site for 5 years, 10 years, and I haven't gotten anything. And there's reasons. There are reasons why. Specifically, it should be obvious. You're not getting enough traffic, either paid or non-paid, organic. You don't have enough content, little or no content. There's just no conversion of the traffic that you are getting. So just getting people to your website, is not enough. And, we're going to look at just some basics of what you need to know, because you could be spending a lot of time on something that's never going to have a chance anyway. I see a lot of people, working on websites that just from a technology standpoint, they're just not set up. It's just not set up for you to get found. And we'll look at some examples of websites nice websites, but they're just not set up to produce traffic. And there's some things just to look at on your own website just to see, where am I at? So part of this course is just to figure out, okay, what's so about, what do I have, and how, given that, do I want to make a change, or is this the strategy that I want to continue with? And there's nothing wrong with anything. There's not good websites. There's not bad websites. You just want to make sure that you're not running a marathon in basketball shoes. You want to have the right equipment for the race that you're in. Just some jargon we're going to be taking a look at. There's your website title. This is where you would type in your web address. And there's differences in technology for websites on how those show up. There's what's called ugly permalink and pretty permalink, or the website title. All right. So let's and then we've got the title and the content, and then you've got the body or the content of what your article or content is about. So no traffic, again, could be improper site structure, no content, just lack of marketing in general. There's, you're not doing video, social media, pay-per-click advertising is, can be an effective way to get you traffic right now. So the site not being set up right. Let's take a look at what we call a pretty permalink versus an ugly permalink. So let's just open up a web page. And so if I look at, and I'm not picking on anybody's real estate website, it's just, we're just looking at the code. So I don't want anyone saying, hey, Allison, Dave Mason was saying your website's bad. I'm not at all, believe me. It's just, we're just looking at how things are set up. This is just a particular technology. So, if I look at Allison's website, it looks like your average real estate website. And as a geek, I guess, the things I start to look at are this permalink. So I've got allisonsorley.com/idxmini.asp segment equals 644 equals. Right there, I know this is a non-indexable page, which means to the search engines, they can't see this. Does this mean that it's bad? No, it just means Google can't find it, but it doesn't mean, Allison can still send her clients here to get what they need to. So, it may just fit her needs just fine. But if the goal is to get found online, and if you're spending a lot of time working on a site with this type of URL structure, it's not going to work. So, it's just one thing to look at. If you're curious, why am I not getting traffic? Well, for me, the first thing to look at are the permalinks. And it keeps, when I go deeper into, the properties, it's the same thing. The searches, well, here I'm actually, this actually isn't that bad. It's just I'm going down two layers, listing to details, just to get to this address, versus on a URL that has what we call pretty permalinks. If I look at properties, let's look at the property here. Google can come in and read this immediately. It's Scottsdale AZ homes for sale in 85259 with 4 bedrooms and 2 baths versus, let's just go back to a landing page here, idxmini.asp. You know, again, when Google sends its robots or spiders to read your pages to figure out where to put them in their filing cabinet, for how to bring those out, that becomes very important. So even when we start looking at the actual addresses, I don't have to go down multiple layers. It's just housesScottsdaleArizona.com and then the address, versus here it's at AllisonSorley.com/listings/details. That's a lot of layers for a robot to go through, and a lot of times they're just not going to go that deep. So these pages probably may or may not be getting picked up. I would say this one, I don't know. I'd have to look. This page, I would bet my house is not showing up in the search engines anywhere, unless you're driving paid traffic to it or social media like that. Otherwise, to organic search engines, not easy to find. I'm going to stop right now. I've got everybody unmuted. If there's any questions. Questions? Okay. Well, let's keep going. All right. Where are we here? Let's get back to the. The other thing you want to do is make sure that when you're writing titles of your web pages, they actually make sense. So let's see. Whoop. So for example, in this, let's go back to the search. The title of this page is Scottsdale AZ homes for sale in 85259 with 4 bedrooms and 2 baths. And I can see that, it's here as well as here. Let's go here. So, the way this page is set up, I'm not sure, I don't know how the SEO is done on it, but I'm looking at a page of properties. They don't look like new houses to me, but I can see here up in the title, it's new homes for sale. So on the internet, even if this page was getting found, if somebody was looking for new homes and they came to this page, I don't think these are, let me just take a look at this. I don't think these are new homes. I remember looking at this and they're not. Anyway, but you want to, if you're making content about Scottsdale, don't talk about Phoenix, don't talk about Glendale or Tempe. I see a lot of agents, they're trying to get everything crammed into one page. And really what that does is it's confusing Google as to what that page is about. So you're writing about Scottsdale, but Google may think you're writing about Phoenix. So, one of the things about using, I use a WordPress website. I can write as much content and make as many pages as I want because I don't have to contact a web developer to put those pages in. So I can keep, I can afford to keep my content very focused. So if I'm writing about Scottsdale Ranch, I'm just going to keep it Scottsdale Ranch because I want Google to know what's on that page. So just keep your content focused, very, very, very laser focused, narrow. Actually, the more focused, the better. because I don't think I'm not gonna go out and try to get ranked for Scottsdale Realtor. That there's a lot of competition for that. It's just, that would be a lot of time wasted versus I could probably put up 50 pages of content for niches that will have a much better chance to be found than trying to get ranked for a more broad term. Does that make sense, everyone? Okay. All right. So I get this question a lot. Why does, actually this is a, any Prescott people will recognize that. I took that at the spring convention this year. So why does Zillow get a lot of traffic? And why are you not, and why are most agents' websites not getting traffic? Well, it's simple answer is they have a lot of content. You know, I remember a few years ago, I sat down and looked at, you know, I did a search on my own home, and I was very curious as to why. Actually, since then I've changed it. Let's just do my neighbor's house. So this is my neighbor's house. They're not even on the market. That house hasn't been on the market in 10 years. I've never seen a sign on it. However, it's right here. So does anybody know why Zillow is interested in having that be there right now? One, it's content. Two, at some point this house will go on the market. And three, if I click on this content right now, it's still going to take me to Zillow, and it's still going to have the ability for Zillow to create a lead for one of these local agents that are here on the sidebar. So content to Zillow, they know, is worth money to them. They want to have as much content as possible. They have millions and millions and millions of pages online of properties that aren't active. So at some point they will go on the market. And for right now, you know, this may end up in a search somewhere. It's an opportunity then for them to collect a lead. That their content's worth money to them. So if you're ever curious why they do that, there's a lot of money in real estate content. And that's, you're never going to compete against Zillow, but there's ways to really go after your niches in a very proactive way, in a way that they can't. And I just want to point out, there's been a lot of experts that have really sent agents off in the wrong direction. We don't need to write this type of content anymore. How to get your home ready to sell in 30 days. How to, you know, get ready for, or how to get the best interest rate. You know, those type of articles, there's millions of them out there, and it's just hard to rank for that stuff anyway. Might be good for a newsletter, might be good for something to put in social media. I'm not saying don't do it, but what I'm saying is don't do it with the hopes of getting found online, because you'll be very disappointed. It just won't rank. Because really, you got to think about what are consumers looking for. A consumer is looking for property. I just bought a car recently. My first searches weren't for the best car salesman. I immediately started looking for cars. So, you know, knowing that and knowing your niches, you want to make sure that you have that inventory online that can be found online. Yeah, 5 dirt cheap home staging ideas. Good information, but it's not going to get you found online. I don't want you guys wasting time working on this type of content in the hopes of getting found online, because it won't. So if you take nothing else away from this conversation today, you know, I hope it's this one. There is a way to beat Zillow and Trulia, and you know, just think, as a local agent, you know much more about the local real estate market than Zillow and Trulia does. They do really good with address searches, and after that, they fall off a cliff pretty quickly. So, you know, people are looking for horse properties in 85260. They're looking for guard gated properties in 85255. Golf course properties in Mesa. Homes near Zuni Elementary School with 4 bedrooms and a pool. and that's how consumers are looking at, when they're looking for things, they start to get focused. I've had hundreds of buyers in the back seat of my car. Once they figure out what they want, we have to live in Powder Horn Ranch, and we need the 430 split plan, and just keep in mind that they're going to be out looking for that very specific things online. Zillow, Trulia, they're big, and they're all over page 1 of Google for addresses of homes. But yeah, all the other niche searches that people are typing into Google, they're not getting found for. So, neighborhoods, schools, features, and there's a ton of other factors. Basically, whatever the variables are in MLS, homes with solar panels. You guys probably know those niches way better than I do. I've been out for too long. But really starting to, narrow down on those searches is where you're going to get found. So I'm going to back up. I used to sell a lot in Sweetwater Ranch. So what I would probably do now, like running, would be I would do Sweetwater Ranch homes for sale, homes for sale in Sweetwater Ranch Estates, homes for sale in Sweetwater Ranch Manor, 4-bedroom homes with a pool for sale in Sweetwater Ranch, 2-bedroom townhomes in Sweetwater Ranch. So I'm just going to keep creating as much content as possible. The bigger my web is, the more likely I will be found, for those searches. Any questions at all? Anything? Anything burning? Anything you don't want to ask that you want to ask? Okay, we'll keep going. So your content, you want to really go for the niches. So horse property in 85260, McDowell Mountain Ranch golf course homes, cul-de-sac homes in Scottsdale Ranch, guard gate homes for sale in DC Ranch. DC Ranch horse. I don't know if people are looking for that. Homes with solar panels for sale in Carefree, Arizona. There's no such thing as too much content on your website. Zillow will tell you that. The more content you have, the more valuable it is. So how to win? There's really no secret to how to win, how to gain traffic and really be successful online. It's create content and create it often. I would be making video. If you're interested, I have some videos I've made down and dirty, just on how to make videos on your cell phone without spending a lot of time or money. Go hyper local. The more focused you can be, the better. Again, we don't want to be going for Scottsdale real estate agent. Go for those neighborhoods, go for those niche searches, and you'll be successful. The more content you have, the more traffic that you'll get. And really, it's if I would say, well, what does it really take? It really doesn't take a lot of knowledge. You don't have to know a lot of SEO. I think people get bogged down as I have to know a lot of information about internet marketing and search engine optimization. And the reality is you don't. I mean, the way that the modern websites are done now, you really don't have to know any of that. It's just a matter of writing the content and then just publishing it, and just do that consistently. So the other thing I think people are going to say they stumble up against is, I don't have time to work on my website. And the good news is, my company, we've developed a technology to take the pain away from writing content. I'll just tell a quick story, and then I'll do a demo on how you can really leverage your time efficiently to generate content that's going to rank. My wife she's a mediator, she's a lawyer, and law is probably the second hardest thing to rank for online. We started this website probably a little over 6 years ago, maybe even close to 7 years ago. And what did we do at that time? Well, I would just tell my wife what to write about. Her office is over in the Scottsdale Air Park, so she got to work at writing web content. And I can tell you these types of articles that she's writing, they take a long time, at no less than a half an hour, usually an hour or more. And she's written well over 250, maybe 275 pieces of content to generate traffic. First 2 years, organically, didn't necessarily see a lot of new clients. A little bit, it wasn't a huge landslide. So we put more work in the beginning, and over the last 4 years, generated close to $300,000 in revenues from just traffic from the website. So, a lot of agents say, I blogged for 3 months and nothing happened. Well, it's going to take more than that. I'm not going to lie, but worth it. She's very happy now. In fact, we had a conversation last night. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have a mediation practice. So, because I used to get questions all the time. Are you sure this is going to work? Yes. And the first year, she just trusted that the content would work, and it did. And as time went on, we did some other things to boost traffic. Some Google local, hired somebody to optimize that for us. We do a little bit of pay-per-click, not a lot. It's probably less than $100 a month, but the bulk is organic, over 90%, and some backlinking a few years ago. And that's been it. And some social media, not a ton, but some. But the bulk of the traffic is organic traffic from people doing searches. So my wife would be a great model to follow, and I always say I should get her on here to get her experience of what it was like, putting this together. But with that said, I just want to get back to let's do a demonstration on. This is one of my test websites, just to look at what it takes to create content. So let's do a search, and let's say let's pretend I'm still active in real estate, and I want to get found for Sweetwater Ranch. So let's do homes for sale in Sweetwater Ranch Estates. So here in this area here, this is where I would write maybe 100 words or 200 words about Sweetwater Ranch Estates, maybe some of the amenities, what's nearby. They just opened up a new fire station right down the street. I'm not going to do that right now just for time, but and this is where we create the content with our content tool. So I'm going to do this very quickly. So I'm going to do Sweetwater Ranch Estates. And I'm going to do, it's an 85260. And I'm just going to now insert that search in the blog post. I don't have to know anything. The program generated that code for me. And now I'm going to publish that content. I put it in my blog. There's the post. And there's 4 results. And that took me, that was not even a minute. So what I can do with this now, or actually what has happened is, or what I can do now is, if I have a client that is looking for properties in Sweetwater Ranch, I can click on the little email thing and I can just send this right to my client. You can also use the tool for creating, well, actually, it also just automatically sent this post out to my social media accounts that I wanted it to go out to. So all that happened in one click. So in terms of creating content, my wife would spend an hour. I just created a page in a minute, 2 minutes. Some might take you a little longer, but you won't find a way to create content this quickly. All right, let's make another one. Let's do 3-bedroom homes for sale in Scottsdale Ranch with a pool. And let's go to the tool. Now I could draw a map out of the area, but I don't know the exact boundaries of Scottsdale Ranch. Or I can just do it by just the straight variables, Scottsdale Ranch. We said 3 bedrooms, and we wanted a pool. Now I have access to all the different variables, property variables in Armless. So I could come up with homes with solar panels in 8525. Whatever you can think of, you can make those searches. I'm probably not doing you guys know that way better than I do. Right now I'm just looking for pool. So let's go pool. So let's add that options. And I'm going to pick the criteria that I would like to find. And let's do that. Let's put that in the search. And I'll just do Scottsdale, Arizona homes. Search. And there's my search. And there are 8. So one thing I want to point out is, so I made that search very quickly, but what happened was I now have a landing page, and I now have it produced 8 results. So I've made 9 pages of content like in 2 minutes. And we have agents that have thousands and thousands of pages, because you might do homes for sale in 85254. You could do a broad search and you'll get hundreds of searches, if not thousands. So you can build a large website in a short amount of time, which is exactly how Zillow is doing it. That's their secret. It's just they've got a lot of content. Any questions before I move on? I've got pretty much I've got most of you guys unmuted. Any questions? Okay. All right. So let's our main website is ifoundagent.com, and it's very easy to sign up for a website with our company. We have a lot of different website designs that you can choose from. Everything is mobile responsive, which we actually automatically have our website behave like an app. It's actually a search nearby app that your customers can use, so they don't have to go look at Zillow and everything else. You actually own the technology, so if you decide you want to move on, you actually keep the WordPress website and you can host it wherever you want. We have an automated process to get your sites up. If you fill out our Get Started form completely, we can deliver the website in less than 48 hours, or business days, during business days. You can get, we do a seminar special. It's actually, it's $5.99 and $79 a month normally. If you sign up with the webinar, it's $5.99 and $69 a month. The other thing too is we actually have a subscription that if you don't want to be doing your own blogging, you can just sign up for, we call it the RE Blog Dog, and We just take the cities and subdivisions that you're interested in getting found for, and it'll automatically create unique content in your niches for you on a daily basis. And we also do have custom maps that are available, which as an agent, I've never loved what most of the real estate maps look like. We've actually created something that's, most people are using touch screens now, except for Mac users, but there'll be touch screens shortly, tablets, cell phones, Windows 8 and 10 machines. Our maps are very intuitive. So if you're actually like on a tablet, you're just touching to see what's available in the areas. Great way to keep your clients sticky and keeping them come back to your website, because it's just really easy for them to look at the areas that you service. Like that. So anybody, does this, Patty, does the search stay? Yes, they do. So once you put them up there, they're there forever, unless you take them down. What else? I'm going to unmute. That's what I had. That's what I have for today. I'm going to unmute everybody. So if you have questions, now is the time for that. And I'll be more than happy to answer anything. So if it's not related to what we're talking about and I can answer it, I'll be more than happy to answer it. So I've got everybody unmuted now. Anybody have anything? Patty?
Yeah.
Any questions?
Can you hear me? No, I think you answered it, but you didn't tell everybody what my question was, so maybe they want to hear it.
Good point. So I think your question was, do the searches, so the ones that I posted or just demoed me posting, do those stay there?
They're real time. Do they? So if somebody clicks on, let's say 2 weeks, let's say they on that post they click on it 2 weeks later, or is that a real time? Will it stay that way?
Oh,
you know what I mean?
They update. Everything's dynamic. They'll update every 10 minutes.
Got it. Okay.
So as the new ones come on, the old ones come off. Now, the other thing that we have, which I forgot to mention, is we have sold data now. So I think it was the National Association kind of forced the MLSs to give all the IDX companies sold data, which is awesome because you can make a ton of posts around. People always want to know what their house is worth. So now you can start to make those posts and, newsletters, drip campaigns, however you need to use that data. Social media can be very powerful for sold data. I've seen agents, creating unique content and it would be very easy to use with our system, like, homes for sale without HOAs in Phoenix. What are homes selling for on the golf course in Greyhawk? I mean, you can make that kind of social. I call them real estate curiosities. Those type of posts are good for social media, and you don't have to spend a fortune of time, creating those as well. Another interesting strategy I saw a few of our agents doing is a sign writer strategy, which is very easy to do. And I think, very effective is, if I had a listing in Sweetwater Ranch, I'd probably make, houses Scottsdale, Arizona, housesScottsdaleArizona.com/Sweetwater Ranch, because you can make a sign writer very easily. I guess I made this a while ago. You can just make a sign writer and put that on your real estate signs for that neighborhood and drive traffic back to your website, because sellers are going to look at it. So you could have the sold data there, you could have the active data there on the page. You could put a video about your services. People are going to look at it. I know couple of our clients are doing very well with that. So just some food for thought. And you know, and the flip side also is you can use your website, you know, for a listing presentation. You know, hundreds of times I've had sellers, you know, Dave, how are you gonna get my house sold? Well, back then it was homes and land. It's about the best we had back then. But now it's still might be homes and land, but there's, you know, people are aware there's a lot going on online. How are you gonna get my house found online? Well, you know, if I was in Sweetwater Ranch, I would just, you know, briefly, I'm not going to give anybody an SEO lesson, but I'm going to briefly explain how these pages are going to attract people looking for properties in this area. And I want to talk to them. I don't want them going to Zillow or Truly or wherever they're going online. So there's a lot of ways to leverage the content. I'm always excited to see what our clients come up with, because they usually will create things that I haven't even thought about. So what else? Curtis, I thought you had a question. Okay, anyone else?
Johnson. I'll be right back. Okay.
Anyone else? All right. Well, thank you guys. I hope you know, I answered all your questions, and you can take away something from this that you can use now. And you know, we'll be doing some additional seminars. We've got an SEO for real estate agents coming up. I think it's not next week, but the week after. My partner Dale Stauffer is teaching it. He's a former nuclear chemist and a serious propeller head when it comes to search optimization for real estate. I haven't met anyone that knows more about you know, getting found online in real estate business. He was the main architect on our IDX tool as well. So I mean, he's got a lot of invested in how that all works and how to really leverage all this data in the optimum way. So again, I just wanted to say thank you, and I appreciate your time. You will be getting a replay of this webinar in about an hour. If you feel like you want to go back and hear something again, it's all being recorded. I probably should have mentioned that up front. But again, thank you, and that's all I have. Thanks. Bye-bye.